everyone. We're in the process of
Getting ready.
getting ready to show you some eyes and go over your eyes with you. I think I have about 45 minutes or so here, so we'll do that. I thought I would just catch on a couple of things we got this morning in. I wanted to go over, and then we'll go into some eyes and really show you what's going on. I think we've done several videos now on your eyes, and hopefully you can pick up on the simplicity of reading the eye and looking at this. It's called iridology. It's been a science around since the mid-1800s, but Jensen told me, he said they found 2 books in the 1600s, I think, and 1 book in the 1500s relating from diagnosing from the eye tissue. So it's a real fascinating science, but it's easy to understand when you realize your nervous system is simply the information highway, baby. The brain is the hard drive. You have the optic nerves. They swing around and also touch the parasympathetic back here at the cerebellum. This is the information highway. The autonomic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous and the central nervous system works hand in hand. So you have sight, you have communication, you have movement and reflex from that. And it's all how the body works, autonomic nervous system and central nervous system. And that's how we see the condition of the cells of the body. And what's interesting to me, it also shows the condition of the fluids, at least the lymph fluids. It's almost like God knew we were going to play around with blood tests and things like that, but there's nothing to really look at the lymph system, and so the eyes are that magic. And that really, for a practitioner or a healer, the eyes show you the extent of the problem. Most of you guys are getting it quite well, which I'm so proud of you guys, and understanding symptomology and what's going on. But the eyes show you how bad the individual's suffering from this. It also can give us a clue to the pituitary involved in the other endocrine glands. So I'm just going to cover a couple of these, Drew, and then we'll move to the eyes. This lady sent and I have a 10-year-old and a 72-year-old, both females. We'll go over that, and then we'll go move around and do this. This is from Flying with Horses. Love you, dear. I love that. I'd appreciate your insights into the following. Is there's a media war being waged against fructose. And we talked about that before, the difference between commercial fructose and what comes in simple fruits and berries and melons and things. And the sad thing about that is that this planet is so fearful. Man is so fearful of his own shadow. You've got people wiping bacteria off their hands, and you go into Walmart or wherever, and they've got these little dispensers, and you'll get yourself so out of immunity that the man will have to be in a bubble, because the best way to get immunity is go work on a farm for a while. Get in with the hogs. Get in with the cattle. Get yourself dirty. I mean, this is called natural immunity. This is how it works. And we are just such a fearful society. I find it amazing. And to go after fruits, and we're frugivores, you would have to say that about the primates. And she brings up the fact about juicing, overeating fruit. So, and you'd have the same thing with vegetable matter. And the thing about fructose is such an easily usable sugar as opposed to glucose. I disagree with the concepts that fructose is taken to the liver and converted to glucose. Why? Why would the body do something stupid like that? Because it's a simple sugar. There's no defining it in any way. I don't see how you convert fructose to glucose. That would be taking a superior sugar, simple sugar, and converting it to a lower form of a simple sugar, which you're already at the simplicity, the simplest sugar you can get, and I just disagree with that. As I disagree with some of the biochemical theories. And we'll talk about another one here. There's just so much stupidity out there. It's amazing. And I'll tell you, there'd have been so many dead people on fruit juice fasts. It would be amazing. In my 43 years in working with fruits and detoxification and fasting, we only see major improvements. We see people getting their remedy right and left. We don't see any negativity. And she brings out this one fact about in UK claiming that a woman's liver went into shock from fructose. Oh my God! I mean, commercial fructose, which is a beast of a whole nother color. Who knows about that? But eating fruits, your liver went into fructose shock. That sounds something a medical doctor would come up with. That's how stupid that is. No offense to medical doctors, but this is ridiculous thinking. Now, we know one thing's for sure. Fruit is active in astringents, and you're going to see active participation in the body. If you have a liver problem, you're going to know it because fruits start getting things moving. Remember, detoxification isn't a golden road that everything's good and everybody feels good all the time. No, it's a Humpty Dumpty, but it's an upward Humpty Dumpty. You keep going up, and pretty soon you start leveling off and you start soaring. But at first, yes, people don't understand the detox, and I think that was important to the guy that did the Steve Jobs movie. That showed how karmically interesting that was, that he had a pancreatic problem. He went on fruit diet and he had a pancreatic problem. They don't show the other part of the clinics in Mexico and the other things with Steve Jobs and the other things that he did. They don't show those things and tell people these things. These are selectively picked. So it's ridiculous here to see that sort of thing. Juice for her liver shock, dizziness, and fainting spells. Isn't that more like a cleansing reaction? It is, but it also shows she has sugar metabolism problems. The adrenal glands also shows she probably has some things going on in the cerebellum. And with liver, you probably have stomach, and stomach, of course, is the parasympathetic and the sympathetic ganglia, the nerve, the brain of the autonomic, so to speak. One of my friends shares the same view after reading a book by Robert Lustig, who claims that fructose is a poison and fruit should only be, give me a friggin' break. I mean, half the primates, the orangutans in particular, would all be dead. They wouldn't be able to rip people's heads off like they do. I mean, this is just insanity when you hear something. And this is madness, sweetheart. I know exactly, and I'm right with you. Love you, too, and a big hug to you, too. Insane stuff. I don't know what to say about it. Just stupid, 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 stupid. And let them be stupid. If people want to live with their heads in the sand and they want to suffer and they want to go down that road, there's nothing we can do. We want to be the light givers, the way showers. They don't want to listen. That's okay. You just keep getting yourselves well and don't fall into the madness and insanity that the mind portrays out there. The negative forces would love to take you off your stature. And just remember that. You always have to guard with crazy knowledge that doesn't really exist. All this kind of crap that's out there. Got to realize science is at an immature level on this planet. Almost everything is a very immature level at this planet. You'll see that when you start having out-of-body travels and you start visiting other domains and stuff, you'll start seeing higher elevated consciousness like nobody's business, and you start coming back here and it's almost claustrophobic. It's so bad here, but that's why you guys are bringing in the light to the world. That's all I've got to say. This is another one from Margot Mango. My name is Josh, 19-year-old male from Denver. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for watching the videos, helping yourself out. You're a good guy here. I appreciate it. I've experienced both depression and anxiety in his life. So here we go, 19 years old. We know immediately this poor soul has got a adrenal problem to work with and a parathyroid problem. We know that immediately. But we know that you guys that are in your teens and your 20s are suffering. We know that, and that's why these videos, I am passionate about helping you guys because you're the future of the planet. You have to stand tall with the light. At my age, I'm getting ready to tip off and get the hell out of here. But you guys are the torchbearers of the world. And so my love goes out to each and every one of you. We have 16, 14 writing in, trying to get their health better. I just love you guys. And I respect every one of you for doing that. You guys are the salt of the earth, man. Just something else. Adderall and other pharmaceuticals have made it worse, absolutely, often with my anxiety. I experienced compulsive eating of very poor quality foods. He went on to say the use of drugs or alcohol to aid in his panic attacks. He's a real low adrenals here, so you really want to do a glandular on those adrenals. However, each day my raw diet intake increases, my anxiety decreases. Isn't that cool? Meditation is also helpful. Work on your adrenals and kidneys, my friend. Get parathyroid too. I will continue to search for more remedies using herbs in nature. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Well, thank you too. Love you, man. So his question is this. My question is on alkaline treatments. My knowledge of science and chemistry is limited, so is everyone else's. Let me tell you, everyone, including chemists, we have a chemist that comes in here almost every day, don't we? Argues that he has alkalosis. His skin was solid red, right? And just red all over. And I'm telling him, no, that's acidosis. Oh no, this is alkalosis. Now this is a full-bore chemist that worked for a large company. So we're arguing back and forth. So I see he was sweating one day, and I said, let me see here. I've got some pH papers. Check your sweat under your arm. Sure enough, very acidic. Oh, no, this is alkalosis. And he still won't change his mind because he can't break away from his conditioned thinking. That's why you got to get away from the mind. It is a conditioned instrument. It'll believe what it's trained to believe, and it works in grooves. And it's hard to break these grooves. And you could live your whole life with wrong assumptions, wrong philosophies, wrong ideas, and missing the truth of life. And so this guy's getting better doing our way, but he still complains of alkalosis. It's like, I can't get that guy. He drives me insane sometimes. So Josh's question is my knowledge. Yeah. But if much of our issues, including cancer, are due to a high acidic environment for the cells, why wouldn't modern medicine, or at least chemistry, create an alkaline chemo or take alkaline treatments? Wouldn't you think? You know what, there was an oncologist telling me that they were playing with alkaline chemotherapy. The thing is that alkaline chemotherapy would be detoxifying. It wouldn't be destructive. So their idea is to kill the cells that are damaged or mutated. If you got to change that concept first and understand that, get rid of the acids in the body. We already do that in chemistry, Josh. That's it. You're doing that. I'm doing that. We're all on YouTube and Facebook. We're all doing that. We're bringing in alkaline chemistry into the body to hydrate and bring an acid environment under control. Remember, base balance, meaning the base rules. Not high, but base does rule in air and food and everywhere else. It has to, because acids are corrosive. Wouldn't you think that? Because in chemistry, we know acids are corrosive. That's chemistry. And yet, it's almost like, and you got to realize this with the mind. This is why you guys see more. The mind can only work in little thought patterns. It doesn't have the ability to overview. Only you as soul has the ability to go, oh look, this and 1 and 1 is 2, and you're putting all this together. Outside of that, the mind is totally conditioned and works in these grooves of training. It only can see in individual sequences. And it can, it can put things together a little bit and rationalize and everything like that. But the consciousness behind that, behind the mind of itself is not conscious. The consciousness is you. So that's why I try to get you guys beyond that mind. And then overview. Then you can put all this together. Most physical scientists can't put things together. Physics is over here, chemistry is over here, and I say, why don't we slap them together? Slapping them together, you start to see a little more, but every science has its own thing, and it's a theories. After a while, it's sickening here. This is Brianna. I think I talked to you yesterday on a video. I hope you're doing well. I have a question about herbs. In nature, we would naturally be attracted to fruits, of course, and absolutely that. But I will say this. Growing up, we were farmers. I was attracted to flowers. I ate dandelion green flowers, and I ate daisies. You just naturally did this. The other thing that I did was sassafras leaves and, of course, sassafras tea, which is a high blood cleanser. Didn't know it was just so good, but the leaves, we just had a natural. My sister and I would climb the trees and go, oh, this is good. Now, these were leaves. And I can say that she goes on to say pretty much that we would not be attracted to bitter principles and things like this, and I agree with that. But I'll say this, neither would dogs or any other animal. However, I've seen my dogs go to herbs in greens in the time of need. And of course, Hoxie's formula was based on his racehorses, and particularly the horse that had the tumor that went to the herbs for his tumor. And I think this intuitiveness would come about in nature as we needed it. I think that we are so far away from intuitiveness. The ladies, of course, rule with intuitiveness, and those men that are female principled, these are where the intuitive principles lie. Most male principles are very little intuitiveness to them because their focus is external as opposed to a female, which is more internal. And so that becomes problematic for a male. But we are so toxic. We are so genetically compromised that we just have to use our consciousness and our minds to put this together, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. So you almost have to look, it is what it is. We've come to this because we needed to come to this, because look at where man took himself. So now that's that creation has to move right when it moves left, and work itself, and that's what's have to happen here. We've having to work ourselves through this journey, and you can see when you detox people, we're having to work them through this. Hold them, fold them, faster, slower. Do these different things to get some of these people balance, to get these people to Wellville. And I can tell you, just my own opinion, guys, without the herbs, we have a long road to move from Hellville to Wellville. Let me tell you, God put these herbs here, and I just think that we at this level, future, who knows? I just don't know where man's going to be able to go here on this planet in the future. At this current pace, the things aren't looking so good. So that's one thing. You see, toxic to the body, especially the stronger ones like poke root and cleavers. I am nervous about taking them and trying to clean out the body. Well, this is why we had that video on the young man that took a teaspoon of poke root versus what we have a small amount in the herbs. A small amount of the right herbs, very powerful on tumors and things. Too much of that herb. I think this is where common sense and good herbalists come in, and that's why I say you guys should become a herbalist and get a good sense of that, because I only use small amounts of these poke root and blood root and things like this, and that's all you need, and they work well. Cleaver's excellent for the kidneys. Could you please explain this to me? Absolutely. We deal so much with extreme acidosis and tumors. I mean, Drew, you see them in here all the time. It's tumor after tumors, and it's just it's a mess. And it's like little tiger. He's fighting for his life here. I mean, you can only spoon feed him juices. I mean, it's just we need to get awakened here a little bit more, because this kid already lost his kidney at 3 years old and all this. So his chances are, he's fighting, and oh my God! And without the herbs, you lose that power. There's a power there. It's a specific consciousness that these herbs have for the proper part of the body. Agreed with the roots. They're the more toxic, the strongest parts. But boy, did they come in and really help us. I mean, we've seen nothing but great stuff. But too strong? Absolutely. Your liver enzymes can go up, things like that, because it's too strong on that liver. So you back down, blah, 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 blah. I don't use individual herbs because I like them all together. I think you have a much better buffering mechanism going on with that. And the formulas just work better. They work better together. And just a huge difference when you can see a lymphatic formula take a tumor right out of the body. I love it. My other question is about a man who has been a high fruit raw vegan for over 20 years and has done multiple 40-day water fasts. His gray hair that he gained very young, he still has. It's amazing too. Now, I do have gray hair, and I had perfect brown, I guess you would call it, hair until I took the Peruvian bark. When I took the Peruvian bark, my hair turned as white as the walls in my office here. And I've been struggling to get that back. And I don't take upper circulation all the time. I'm so busy, I don't take care of myself like I should. That I can tell you, I've gotten so many people's gray hair back. You've seen this, Drew, all the time. People coming in, and we look at these older people, and they say, oh, look, your hair color's coming back. You see it all the time out there. And we do that. We can turn your hair back. But we use upper circulation. And I think it goes to say that it might show that even on a high fruitarian diet, that it might have a limit of how deep you can get detoxifying up here, how chronic this guy's bowels were. You have to look at the genetic imprint of this individual, how chronic they are in the adrenals and kidneys, all of this sort of thing, because if you're getting good blood flow to hair follicles, they're going to turn to your natural color. And remember, I told you a case where this lady had a T-cell lymphoma, and she ran and owned this large herb company. And so she called me in distress because when that diagnosis was, termination of life for her. And I told her, no. So we put her Total Raw, of course, and that company made our herbs at one time for us. And I said, you have all our herbs. And then she just caught that joy of using herbs again, and she went crazy. I think I still have immune formulas in the freezer back there that she put together. I mean, some kick-ass stuff. Because she was an herbalist for years and all this. Her hair was salt and pepper, right, with a little gray through it, went to black and started turning blonde. And she said, I was born with blonde hair. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we don't even know truth to the point of, is your hair color really your hair color? Maybe your true color is what you're born with, like your color of your eyes. Maybe the color of your eyes the day you're born, that's the color of your eyes. And then they turn, if they're blue, they generally turn whatever color reflects your chronicness in the body. There's some babies born with blue eyes that turn brown, but we turn them back to blue. Now, would that be wild with hair color? I mean, I'm just saying that chemistry can augment and change cell texture and function. And this could be also true in colors of hair and stuff like that. But I have never failed to turn someone's hair or put hair on a bald head. That's the other thing. If you're balding, you want to fix this for what it means, acidosis in the brain. So I can't say about this guy at 20 years fruitarian. I would assume he should have total full color of hair and third sets of teeth at this time. But I don't know. I don't know the story there, If gray hair is caused from lymph stagnation or post-circulation, how is it this man? Good friggin' question, Brianna. I'd like to know that myself. That's why I love the herbs, though. Look what the herbs do. Yeah. Maybe the fruits are so inferior on this planet right now, Drew, that they don't have that ability. But I don't buy that. Unless he was down in the tropics, that's superior fruit of all the worlds. I mean, I've got 90 and 100-year-old black people from the islands that come in here that were raised exclusively on fruit.
I would love to live.
Oh, man, born and raised on fruit. And this lady was 96 last year in here. She didn't have a speck of friggin' gray. Her teeth were beautiful. I'm looking at her going, you're 96? Holy crap.
She didn't even look 70.
I know. And then there was a 102-year-old black man that came in there. 102, he looked like he said, guess how old I am? I said, well, you're kind of going to be older than I guess. I guessed him at 70-something. He really looked, late 60s, early 70s. 102, hardly any gray hair, getting ready to get married for the 5th time. Holy moly, don't tell me, and look at the primate, don't tell me fruits are bad for you. That we might argue the fact that we have inferior fruits and they're picked unripe and they're more acidic. That's a good argument.
And lack of balance.
And lack of balance. Let's see. This is Mary Jane. Thanks for answering so many questions. Can you tell you how much? Thank you, Mary Jane. My question is about herbs. I recently went to a seminar in which a 20-year-old fruitarian, I guess this is about the same one here, said that that herbs were toxic or something. Our optimum diet should never be something that should make us sick. Oh, herbs have never made anybody sick except for detoxifying. Well, there are toxic herbs, no question. But we know those. Christopher did put Peruvian bark in there, and I bought into that one. But I used more. He said always use small dosages, but he didn't really clarify that. And I used too much. And that was my fault. But it's still, we shouldn't put these herbs, they should be in separate books because, they have the potential. But we have literally used gallons of poke root, gallons of bloodroot, gallons of chaparral. We have nothing. People come in here with liver cancer, cirrhosis, hep C's, we don't see nothing but total remedy to that. We see everyone with those conditions always gone. And we use these powerful herbs constantly. We have babies on them worldwide. We have some. I have never seen any of that. There's only been a couple that had a little bit of an anaphylactic shock to one thing or another. We had one lady that had an anaphylactic shock a little bit, but she was allergic to horse chestnut. And that goes back 20 years ago. I still remember her. She said, I don't know what it is. And I had her on circulation, and I had horse chestnut in it. She said, oh, I'm allergic to horse chestnut. But that's so rare to see that. Although when you start detoxifying, you can go into some hives, you can go into redness on the skin because your kidneys aren't filtering. Your subcutaneous tissues under your skin is saturated with acids and lymph. The body just kind of explodes sometimes. But you know what? I've had way too many years. I don't buy into these things at all. These guys don't know what they're talking about. You've got to be in clinical work and using these by the thousands and stuff. We've worked with tens and tens of thousands of people through the years. So did a lot of other healers with herbs through the years. I mean, herbs are used extensively in India, in China. You don't hear anybody in those countries bitching about them. Only America. America's afraid of their own friggin' shadow, and no help from the FDA. I mean, you can't cut off your supply to God, or you lose. Okay, now, so let me see here. This is a good story here. My name is Liz. I wrote to you about RA, rheumatoid arthritis, which is systemic acidosis. Absolutely. I got week 1 and 2 of the detox pack so far. I'm on my 8th day of the master cleanse. Now, you're on a master cleanse. Now, that's lemon juice. Lemon juice with RA, it's interesting that your pain is coming out because generally I don't put RA or high arthritic cases on acid fruits because it could, like nightshades, like tomatoes and eggplant, could make the pain a little more, but still pull out the acids. But she's working this, and she said, here, I am feeling my acids coming out and have felt a little achy and some chills. Absolutely. My throat is sore. That's where her tonsils were. Oh, God. I hope they grow back. Me too. One of the calcium deposits on my elbow has decreased from the size of a large grape to the size of a pea. Your acids are moving out, sweetheart. Yeah, baby. I am very happy about that. Oh, man, you're moving them out. My kidneys still aren't filtering too well. I have things floating around, but you're still, to get that deposit moving out, you're moving your acids out of there. Good job. They were like a light dusting of what looks like mostly dead skin. Yeah, you're still filtering there. You're still filtering, or you wouldn't see these acids coming out. I noticed my skin breakouts of psoriasis were happening on the right side of my body around my shoulder area mainly. So I figured that side is where the worst kidney, absolutely. Today I have a moderate kidney pain in the right lower back, which lasted for 5 minutes. Is that a sign kidney might be starting to work again? Absolutely. You're going to see that turning on thing. We're not going to have a lot of time for that, are we? How long would you stay on the master cleanse to get rid of the acidosis? Well, I would move to a grape fast and keep going until you have no more acids left. RA's all gone. Your rheumatoid factors are gone. Everything looks good. Your kidneys are filtering good. Absolutely. You might try a glandular for your kidneys. She asked me if I could use a glandular for her kidneys. You might try that, Liz. You're kicking butt, sweetheart. That's what I'm talking about. The people that are wearing the robe. Now, here's where I need your help with these eyes here. I have this is eyes from a 10-year-old Emma and a 71-year-old Olly. She's a female. Ollie. That has been struggling with pain in her hips for 14 years and at the same time had dizziness. Dizziness, remember, coming from the cerebellum, the pain all from acidosis. And has many times fallen on the floor without putting her hand... Oh, crap. Falling on the floor without putting her hands in front to stop her. Oh, man. So she falls on her face. Holy crap. Well, You got it. You cold packs back here. Get upper circulation, brain and nerve going in her. Get this lymph moving. Get those kidneys filtering. At 71, she's not filtering good. That's apparent. Hips, she's going to lose her hips and her knees. You know, this is all acids chewing on her. Get this filtration going so she can rebuild her hips and everything. She can still do this at 71. She fell down on her head last December and passed out for a while. See, this is the problem. When you die at an older age, you want to just go like a Native American, walk into the woods, sit and meditate and take off. You know what I mean? And then give your body to the animals. I mean, that's the right way to go. So she falls on her, oh my God. Since she has been getting worse, and now for approximately 6 weeks ago, she has developed some new symptom, like she has a hard time holding on to things. Well, she's losing her neurological function. This is the autonomic. So she's losing her autonomic. Breathing will be more difficult, heart arrhythmias, blah, 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 blah. No. Back her back on that. Upper circ, brain and nerve, get the kidneys going, get the lymphatics cleaning, get all this cleaned out and restored and rebuilt this lady, and she'll quit doing all these things. I can clearly hear that she has a hard time speaking. Oh, yeah. The doctors have given her many different medicines over the years. Oh, there you go. That cover up the symptoms: MS, epilepsy, nerve medicines, and more with a little success. Fortunately, she has stopped some of her medicines because of the suggestion of an alternative doctor. Can you see what might be her biggest challenge? Well, I can tell you already what her biggest challenge. Her sister is staying in Florida until the 5th of December, and if you have some protocols, absolutely, you'd want to get her in here and see Drew here to take care of this lady. Holy crap! I mean, that's ridiculous. So let's look at her eyes. I think this is the 10-year-old eye. These aren't marked, but let's look at, I think this is Emma's eye. So let's look at Emma's eye here, Drew. And let me come around here. Can we do this, you think? Mm-hmm. Because this is going to be helpful. So this is Oli, I believe. I only say that because of the makeup here on the eyes. Now, this could be the 10-year-old. So I don't know. These are not flagged in terms of which they belong to. But I'm going to assume this because the 10-year-old, she just looks like the eyelashes look younger. So if I'm wrong, this applies to the 10-year-old. Okay, this is the right eye. This is the adrenal gland right up here. That dark lesion right there, or lacuna. This is the kidneys here. So you see some darkness here. You see thick lymph right here. All this thick white stuff is lymph here. This is a blue eye. All this white stuff in this blue eye is her lymphatic system. So what we have here, this looks like a right eye, absolutely. Here's kidney weakness big time, adrenals big time, uterine, she's got some uterine weaknesses, heavy congestion in the vaginal wall and in the bladder here. There's bladder weakness, and here's her lower back that relates to this kidney weakness. This is probably around L4, L5 area. There's also some mid-back weaknesses here. Here's tonsils. I don't know if she's had them out or not, but these tonsils aren't real happy here. There's a little throat going on here, so she'll get a little bit of a sore throat. You can tell this blood vessel here is being pinched from the mid-back to lower back area here. As we go along, here's her right hip. And this right hip, see how dark that's looking right there? It shows that the body's moving toward deterioration of that hip. A lot of acid in that hip. All this thick white stuff is just acidosis breaking down this hip. But right next to this hip is the pancreas. So she has a pancreatic weaknesses for sure. She really needs to work with the pancreas. And then here's some gallbladder right here as well. Here's her shoulder, where her arm goes into her shoulder right here, and there's a weakness right there. So she needs to really clean the gallbladder and liver and pancreas out and kind of build that back up. She needs to get this kidney filtering so this hip can clean and the lower back can fix itself. As I go up, here's bronchial trunk weaknesses here. Here's some breast weakness on the right side here. And this is up in the right ear and cerebellum. She's got a lot of it, and it's not real bad either. She's got some inflammation up here in the cerebellum, a lot of lymph in the sinuses and stuff. This is the right ear, the mastoid area, so this is why some of the equilibrium. But all this thick white up in her brain, there is some minor cholesterol. It's not bad, but you see this is getting a violet-like hue to it up here. That violet hue is showing poor circulation in this lady. She doesn't have heavy cholesterol plaquing, which is interesting. And she doesn't show a lot of cataracts or anything, which is good. So that's the right side of her body. Let's take a look on this left side now. The left side, here's the kidney and adrenals right here. Now, that's not so bad. A thick lymph in the kidney, though, so a lot of inflammation in that kidney, blocking filtration. This is the upper femur going into this left hip. The hip looks better on the left side than the right, but the upper femur doesn't. The upper femur and groin area. If this was a male that was lifting heavy things, she would have had a hernia by now here. This is probably the left ovary here. I'm not mapping these things out perfectly here, but now this is real near the heart area here. That's almost a perfect heart lesion or lacuna. So she could strengthen her heart up. A lot of lymph in the heart area could lead her into congestive heart failure as she got older. You want to clean all that out. Bronchial trunks, like I said. This is moving in the left ear area and mastoid area. Also the left shoulder up in here, weakness. So this is a bit of an issue here for her. Again, up in the cerebellum. This is up in the brain, this big lesion right here. So she needs to get this thick in the left side up here, in the sinuses and frontal lobe and the eyes up here, real thick there. She also has this brown malabsorption ring. So she's not absorbing. If you look in this bowel wall, it's real thick, white, real thick around here. That is lymph stagnation, and she's not absorbing her nutrition well, neither is she digesting it well, because look at the pancreas and the liver. So going back to our discussion about the 4 processes, digestion, absorption, utilization, she fails on all 3. She fails on all 4 ranges: digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. This eye should be all blue and not white in here. Here's some more lower back going on here, a little bladder going on, blah, 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 blah. More throat going up here. This could affect the upper neck. It's a pretty big one right there. So she's got pretty good genes. You know, she really needs to tear this up. Really needs to get in there at 71, get her kidneys filtering, get all this inflammation out of the cerebellum. She probably is going to have a healing crisis in the shoulders, in the leg and the hips. She definitely has to attend to gallbladder and pancreas. Now, here's what I deem as the 10-year-old. If I'm wrong, that applies to the 10-year-old, but I don't think so. I think this is the 10-year-old. You can tell with the eyelashes look kind of young. So I'm showing these as I've been given them. That's all I can say here. Now, look at this 10-year-old. See all this yellowish orange look? This is sulfur. And this body is trying. Now, this is a strong little girl. Look at these fibers are fairly strong here. However, this body is trying to get rid of this sulfur. Somehow she either got this in mother or early on childhood type, you know, colds, flus, mumps, measles, crap like that. You see them out in the lymph nodes. There's a few lymph nodes that are swollen in this girl, and it's the body trying to get it to the lymph nodes, out the skin or through the kidney. Now, the kidney has some minor weaknesses right here and some inflammation in the wall of it. So you want to just get this kidney opened up. This has kind of got a weak leg here a little bit here, particularly the knee and below here. A lot of inflammation in this girl's hip right here and in her pancreatic area. Little gallbladder, minor stuff here. This is her arm, a lot of inflammation in her arm and lower rib area here. She's got some congestion building here in the lower lobe of the right lung. In her brain, she's got a few spots up in here, probably work with an upper circumbrainial nerve. But see, these are called radius solaris, and we don't have time to really get into it. When we do these others, I'll slow up, and we will go slower when we get to the stack of them, and then we'll try to educate more there. This is her animation lifeline. So this is how the spirit comes in, or the prana, the life force comes in. Heavy congestion around the pituitary area here. This is also the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a spiritual gland, but it also is your rest and relaxation. So this girl, as she gets older, could have trouble sleeping, insomnia, stuff like that. This also reflects her cerebellum right here, and there's enough weaknesses here to suggest that this girl, you want to be careful, because even though she has good strong genes here, this weakness in the cerebellum along with these nerve rings is some of the sets up for MS and things like this. And so you really want to, get this girl's adrenals up, make sure her blood pressure is at a normal range. Her hepatic flexure is a little prolapsed here, got the bowel weakness going right here at the top of the ascending bowel. This is in her throat area, so she's got a throat. I don't know if these two are connected relationship-wise. Now there's a little parathyroid weakness. I want to show you guys this for you iridology enthusiasts. That little round dot is a parathyroid. And how you can tell is, see these fibers are a little wavy? These fibers should be straight. And when you start to see a parathyroid weakness, these fibers indicate connective tissue weakness. And that's exactly what's going on, is she's getting some connective tissue weakness. So you want to strengthen this girl's parathyroid gland. Real important to do that, because that's her growth. She could even have growing pains in these legs, which shows weaknesses in the lower legs. She could have some growing pains from this lack of calcium utilization and low calcium absorption, and for growth of bone and also connective tissue weakness. We're also getting into, absolutely, superfood blends, all of that, good for that. We got bladder going on here. We've got lower back going on in here. We might even have female problems as this girl gets older vaginally. So I see vaginal wall weakness. I see bladder weakness. I see coccyx and lower back weakness. Matter of fact, her whole back has weaknesses up and down them. And I'm going to say, go back to this parathyroid gland and put that in your book. You want to get these nerve rings out of here, which is the adrenal glands here. Get all this congestion out of her bowels because she's getting that malabsorption. You might also note these little black areas just outside of the pupil. This is this girl's stomach. And you want to be careful with proteins with this girl, because she could have some serious stomach problems as she got older, because all that black there is showing a little bit of deterioration in the stomach. Could be a chemical in there, but also could be some deterioration at 10 years old. With that said, here's her left eye now. Again, a lot of lymph, a lot thick lymph. All this yellow is sulfur drugs, so you know she's got candida problems for sure. Bronchial trunks out here, a little weakness in the lower lobe of the left lung, a weakness in the left shoulder here, a weakness in the left ear as you move up toward the mastoid and cerebellum. This is your equilibrium, dizzy center, swinging blood pressure comes out of this area. Here we go on the left side. Here's kidney and adrenals. So there's weaknesses in that area. There's weaknesses in all her left leg here and in her groin area. Also, she's picking up a little left hip weakness and just a tad bit of ovarian weakness on this side. We might be in the spleen up in here. A thick lymph in the spleen. Might be some weaknesses involved in that spleen there. Going around again to the bladder and lower back, mid-back. But she's got good genes. This little girl, working on her could help pull her away from a lot of these things that could be coming down her road. So let's see where our time is, Drew. And I think we're right there, because I got 11 o'clock going on. Yeah, it's right at 11 o'clock. So I hope that's helpful for you. And we thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you taking this information and using it. We've had a lot of years here using this. Our staff is seeing these things every day here, so they're getting well grounded in that. So enjoy yourself and work with your health issues. Understand how simple this is. Don't get carried away with some of this misinformation, this crap that's out there. Keep it simple. Use nature as your barometer. What would my species in nature be like? What would we do? What would we eat? And how can we compare ourselves with other species? Which one do we look most like? And it's not dogs, hogs, bears, and chickens. It's not horses, elephants, and giraffes. So it's easy to begin to understand. We have to unwind a long history of eating wrong, of eating omnivorish, and some people almost all carnivorish. We have to unwind a long history of this. And yes, a lot of you live in environments that have heavy influences, and we just have to work ourselves out of that. But you know what? You keep working it, keep yourself balanced, keep yourself having fun, enjoy yourselves, be in the now. Remember, be here now, be here now. Spend some time in contemplation every day, and I love you guys. We'll see you next time.